Hey there, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to climb to a whole new level of perception. We're diving into this really cool concept called the fourth dimension of consciousness.
But let me ask you something first. You ever feel totally, completely stuck in your own head? You know that feeling, right? Like you're all tangled up in your own thoughts, just overwhelmed. Your mind feels like a hurricane, and you're right in the center. We've all been there. But what if? What if there was a way to find that quiet center, that calm in the eye of the storm?
Well, that's exactly where this idea of mountaintop consciousness comes into play. Just picture it like that, a higher state of awareness, a mental vantage point. The original material actually calls this our natural dwelling place, which is pretty cool, right? It's a perspective we can all get to, and from up there, you can finally see the big picture of your life. You can really understand the whole landscape in a much, much deeper way. Okay, so how do we start that climb? How do we even begin? Well, the very first step on this path is all about shifting your perspective. It's about becoming the watcher. And this is absolutely the most crucial point, so listen up. You are not your feelings. You're not the anger, you're not the sadness, you're not the anxiety. You are the one who witnesses them. That's the huge shift. Just realizing that there's a part of you, the real you, that can just observe your inner world without getting totally swept away by it. And this slide, wow, it just lays it out perfectly. In our normal, everyday kind of third dimension state, we totally merge with our feelings. We say, I am upset. But from this fourth dimension, the whole perspective flips. You become the watcher. And instead, you say, I notice a feeling of upset coming up inside me. You see the difference, right? It's huge. One is being the storm, and the other is watching that same storm from a safe, clear distance. And the really powerful thing here is that you get an immediate payoff. This isn't just some neat little mental trick. Adopting this watcher perspective, it actively dissolves confusion. It brings this incredible clarity to your thoughts and your emotions. And it even helps you understand the super complex dynamics you have with other people. Okay. So now let's see what happens when we really build on this. Because once you get to that mental summit, the view is, well, it's extraordinary. It doesn't just change how you see your own emotions, it literally changes your perception of reality itself. Especially, and this is the wild part, when it comes to time. Yeah, this is where things get really, really fascinating. From this higher state, time itself just feels different. Your sense of the here and now isn't just this tiny, fleeting second anymore. It actually expands to cover a scope of about 9 days. I mean, can you imagine that? Experiencing the present moment not like a tiny dot on a line, but as a whole landscape. So this timeline here shows us exactly how this works. Your point of awareness, you're right there in the middle. But it's not just a tiny, fleeting instant. It's more like a window that stretches about 4.5 days into the past and 4.5 days into the future. You're not just living in isolated moments, you're actually experiencing the flow of time. And you can imagine the practical use for this is just immense. When you can see the connections, between what you did in the past, the choice you're making right now, and what's likely to happen in the future all at once, your ability to make really wise, accurate judgments just skyrockets. You stop just reacting to things and you start responding with this much fuller, deeper understanding of what's going on. So that brings up a good question. What does a person who can get to this state regularly, what do they even look like? What are the qualities that define this, mountaintop character? It seems like the view from up there really shapes the person who's seeing it. What you see emerge is this state of being that's just defined by things like open-mindedness, inspiration, and a real, genuine happiness. This whole perspective fuels a creative and selfless intellect. It helps you become more independent, highly motivated. It even lets you help other people more effectively because you're not getting all tangled up in their emotional drama. And look, this isn't just for mystics meditating on a mountaintop. This perspective is the exact realm where artists and teachers and philosophers, it's where they find the expression for their biggest insights. This is the source code for the creativity and the deep understanding that has literally shaped human culture. Okay, so this all sounds pretty amazing, right? But the big question is, how do we actually do it? How do we make this climb a regular practice and not just some accidental trip we take once in a while? Let's break down the practical steps.
First off, let me give you some good news. You have almost certainly been here before, maybe just for a flash, a fleeting moment. Maybe during a quiet walk out in nature, or when you were just totally lost in a creative project. So the goal here isn't to find some brand new, undiscovered thing. It's just to recognize that state of clear, peaceful awareness when it happens, and then learn how to stay there.
So the path to get there, it really breaks down into 3 key steps. Step 1, build a solid foundation. That just means keeping your daily life in some kind of order and getting better at managing your knee-jerk emotional reactions. Step 2, you have to consciously withdraw your energy. Pull your focus away from all the constant external distractions begging for your attention. And finally, step 3, when you notice that calm, serene, watcher state pop up, practice staying there. Just hang out in it. And trust me, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. We've explored this incredible view from the mountaintop, a state of clarity, of expanded time, of really profound insight. And it all leaves us with one last really crucial question to think about. If you could stand on that summit right now and look out over the entire landscape of your own life, what would you see?